live. I got the YouTube live going. Woohoo!
It works.
Great.
Well, it's been good.
Is anyone watching?
Oh, of course.
Well, I have the live thing in my corner. Jesse, what did you have for dinner, dude?
It's so weird now because it's like there's a lag, so I'm just gonna go onto the Zoom. Otherwise, it gets really crazy. All right, so I'm gonna do my intro again, which is what's up, everybody. This is the what are we calling this? Shift drink with
Shift
the
drink with the chef.
Shift drink.
we've got Papa Tones over here and our homie Sam Lippman, and we are just letting you all into the crazy minds at the end of the shift of chefs. That's kind of the basic idea here. And so we always start with the most important questions. What are you drinking? What are you eating? And I actually kind of went out on a limb. You guys will appreciate this. Tonight, I had homemade Puerto Rican style fried chicken. And you guys know I don't really jam on chicken a whole lot. And I don't usually do like the fried chicken thing, but I don't know. I was just feeling it tonight. I've got a little bit of, where is it? Well, I'm kind of on a Puerto Rican vibe thing right now. I've got some homemade sazon going on right now because I'm doing a Puerto Rican like virtual team building event. There's this whole team of people that were supposed to go on like a Puerto Rican vacation, and instead they just like second place is just me coming into their living room. So I custom made this sazon and send out these little fancy boxes with all this stuff. And
what's a sazon?
Sazon is basically like Puerto Rican garam masala. It's like a spice. It's like spice blend. So it's achiote, cumin, coriander, oregano, dried cilantro, garlic, salt. It's like, but it's really like whatever you put into it, kind of thing.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's what I put in mine. So, anyways, I marinated up that the chicken and then just did like a panko crust. Had a little bit of homemade aioli in the fridge.
All right.
It was pretty legit. Not gonna lie, that like makes up for like 2 days of eating like cornflakes and Fruit Loops.
Every once in a while,
or maybe one.
And you did fried chicken just for yourself?
Yeah, just for me. Yep.
Damn. All right.
That's a lot to like get the oil going and everything, and just do like
the
two
breading.
pieces.
But see, the thing was, like, I already had the panko out because I sent like a little panko in our little pretty kits. So like a lot of it was just kind of laying around, you know.
You were like in motion already.
Plus, Sam, I don't know if you've seen this, but like I've got the whole like commercial, like I've got the whole like studio kitchen happening back here. So I've got like all the
yeah, it looks way less like a storage unit than before.
It's nice looking, man. Yeah, that was I didn't know what that space was for.
I can see you moved your refrigerator out of the room, which means you're probably sleeping next to it.
No, bro. I got the freezer right there, dude, along with the soft lights. Along with the soft lights.
That looks like a broken washing machine.
No, man, that's my freezer. So I keep all the goods.
The deep freeze.
You should see the backyard,
but where'd the fridge
go?
That's where the fridge is?
I only have that freezer, man. The
fridge you have a fridge to your right. You have like a little kitchen zone also, right? That's your studio kitchen behind you.
Oh, Sam, I don't even know if you realize this used to be the bar. This isn't even the kitchen. The kitchen is right here.
Oh.
But I don't use the kitchen. I just converted this little bar space into like a production studio.
So it looks way bigger on my phone.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's amazing. There's a lot of stuff back there.
You did a lot of work, man. It looks great. Yeah.
It's just been like I don't know. You've seen my yard, which was the true storage unit. And my yard is now like a super dope third room that is got like, you can't really see it right now, but it's got like lights and, it's a good place for my child to do school, since that's how this goes at the moment. So on that note, I do think I need a little bit of tequila to get through this call. just a little bit. A Papa Tone size bottle.
Kirkland, baby. Kirkland. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. I am also drinking a Kirkland tequila product.
All right.
I mean,
Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is the Añejo.
So speaking of our favorite store, let's be real. Where would you be in your small scale catering environment without Costco. I would be out of business, but I think maybe others aren't quite as dependent.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. Just between Costco, the farmers market, and then like a quick trip to Rainbow Grocery. That's all you really have time for if you give yourself one day to shop. So you get the majority of the heavy things at Costco, and then you get the trendy seasonal ingredients at the farmers market. The produce at Costco is like plentiful, but usually like lower tier of quality.
For sure.
And then you got to go buy some really crunchy hippie stuff at the health food store.
Right.
So you usually need that as well.
So my flow
for you
in the
East Bay, it's more like Berkeley Bowl.
My flow is like Costco and Berkeley Bowl, and like, I mean, this is probably sacrilege, and I shouldn't say it on TV, but like almost all the local farms I can find their products at Berkeley Bowl, and there's a lot to be said for the one-stop shop.
Time is money, baby.
And
at the farmers market in Berkeley, they'll charge almost twice as much as in the city. Even the same growers.
Right, exactly.
It's just a demographic thing.
Right.
Wow.
So yeah, the farmers market is like a great place to go to support the farmers in the East Bay, but it's not necessarily the place to go to make money as a chef.
Yeah, it sounds nice. I'm lucky. I've had a shopper who gets out to the Civic Center in San Rafael and goes to the Thursday morning farmers market for us.
Yeah.
She worked really directly with a lot of the growers there, so that was a really cool thing. But since the pandemic, we haven't been going as much, and she's actually left because people leave.
And you guys are doing pretty much everything purveyor based, though, right? Anthony?
Yeah.
Like you guys don't do any little.
I put a cook's company order in, and depends. Some weeks are slow, and we're right next to Good Earth. But speaking of charging a lot, I paid $14 for a head of cauliflower there once. One head of cauliflower. Nice. Yeah.
It was probably purple though.
No, it was just regular. It wasn't even that big.
It wasn't even yellow. It wasn't even cheddar.
Wasn't even that cheddar, baby. No. Yeah, but we're purveyor based. We do have some. We have a local fisherman, fish kind of monger who is the partner of the woman who works in sales. So that feels kind of nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we try to like be as local as we can because that's like our brand and everything. Yeah, the purveyor thing, it's real nice when it comes right to your door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a whole part of work.
Whole new thing.
So favorite farm or favorite product, like farmer's market product.
Are you asking me? Because I'm
asking both you.
Yeah, for sure.
In the Bay, obviously.
In the Bay. Well, you gotta love Cowgirl Creamery, their cheese, and there's another small one called Bivalve that's been at the farmers market. I haven't seen it lately. I've only been a handful of times, but Bivalve's another like small artisanal cheese producer, and their stuff's just so unique and kind of like uncommon. So I love I love cheese, so that's the stuff that kind of gets me excited. Yeah.
Nice. Sam?
Dry Farm Early Girl tomatoes.
Okay.
I have two preferred sources. Everyone is doing it now. It's very hip. But the originator is a farmer named Mark who owns Two Dog Farm in Davenport, which is outside of Santa Cruz. He created the process of not irrigating the tomatoes after they're planted. So they have to dig deeper to really find the groundwater. So what you get is a smaller tomato that has twice as much tomato flavor. So they're like these little flavor bombs.
That's why they're so good.
Yeah. And
dig deep.
That's the term dry farming. It's not like many other culinary terms that don't really mean anything.
It sounds like something that came out of Israel because I know they do have a lot of like cutting edge techniques.
Not really dependent on the climate as much either as like the ground.
Right.
But so I get dry farm tomatoes from Two Dog. They're really good. And then also my friend Toby, who owns Free Spirit Farm in Winter. And anything he grows is amazing. So if I need a whole case and my schedule lines up with his delivery schedule, I'll call him and get a few boxes of his dry farm early girls, which are also really good.
Nice. Yeah, Toby stuff is great.
Yeah, and then I make it seems excessive or basic, but I just make a tomato soup with the early girls, and it's like the most intense, like perfect Campbell's tomato soup you've ever had, except
like
for
from
like
the
100
can.
times better. But like 100 times, it just tastes like summer.
Oh, cool.
It's wild. Like the only thing I'll add to it might be like an onion or a carrot, maybe a chili flake. But just cook the tomatoes down and blend them up, and like it's this incredible tomato experience. So I kind of give this same spiel when I presented at an event, and then people are like, I've never thought about tomatoes this way. So
nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
so tell us, Sam, like you have a really interesting take on food. Like give us kind of like what is your your style of cooking has probably influenced how I think about food, especially about desserts more than anybody. But like just tell us a little bit about like, yeah, what's your sort of philosophy or perspective on food?
Well, I guess I didn't intend. He walks away because he knows he's going to have some time now.
It's like a line. It's like a line change in hockey.
I need some ice, bro. It's not all about you, all right? It's not all about you. Okay.
He's got the earbuds travel.
I didn't really intend to become a chef. I worked with children.
Oh yeah, let me tell you. I was like, when I was 2, I was like, oh yeah, a lifetime.
I was going to be a stand-up comedian or a creative writing major, but all through high school and into college,
lifelong profession.
Yeah. Anyway, I used to work with kids in community and nonprofit and alternative programs, all ages. During and after college, I was having some pretty serious health issues with my back. I had like constant muscle spasms. And I had tried every kind of treatment and diet and really never had any relief more than a day or two. But the symptoms always persisted. So shortly after I graduated, some friends recommended a raw vegan diet. I was traveling that summer in Europe, and I went to a couple farms in Spain that were like raw food communes. And they kind of like, you'd work on the farm. It was woofing. So you'd work on the farm and volunteer, and then they would feed you and put you up for the week you were there. And just in that short amount of time, eating that way, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, not having any processed ingredients, not having any grains or meat, I felt the muscles that had been constantly spastic for like 4 or 5 years, like start to release. And then it was incredible. Like I felt normal again. And so it was really profound for me that something so simple as just changing the food I ate, even though it required like a totally different approach to eating and cooking, could, solve this otherwise chronic and unsolvable problem. So when I came back to the States and I had things like electricity and like an indoor kitchen to work in, I like went all in and like I had my like after college part-time jobs, living in a few different cities, but I was always experimenting in the kitchen and kind of like being my own guinea pig and reading recipe books and developing my own raw vegan recipes. But over the course of those like 1.5 to 2 years, I lost over 50 pounds. My back problems went away. I just felt great. I like became an inspired and kind of fearless and more fun-loving person. And I just kept rolling with it. So when I moved to San Francisco in 2005, like I had a job with a nonprofit in a community program working with youth here in the Bayview. And then instead of getting a second part-time job, I just put ads up on Craigslist and I found private clients, and I would deliver them raw food meals for the week. And I was also living in a house with like 5 other people. So I would do the grocery shopping for the apartment for the week at the farmer's market. And then I would make all my meals for delivery, share the leftovers with the roommates. And then my clients were basically paying for me to kind of finance all of my ingredients.
Were you making more
So,
money on top of that though? I mean, was it enough to sustain
you
you?
know, it was week to week. It depends how much you'd spill on the floor, or like how many people didn't order stuff, or like how many batches of X, Y, and Z you ruined.
Experiments will do that, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it was at least like it you know, it covered my food budget for the week.
Yeah,
And it just provided me with like a blank canvas
Right.
to kind of learn by doing,
for
which is
sure.
probably how I learned best. And I think because like there were no requirements or restrictions, I could really just be creative and, you know, try to figure out like how to make a burrito or you know a fajita dish, or like whatever I was trying to like replicate in a raw vegan fashion. You know, I could just add free range just to do that. So yeah, I never had any training per se other than me kind of like looking for information and then trying to figure it out on my own.
I'm so curious, like if you have like one dish that you like made that you're like, this was the best, most amazing, like greatest idea ever, and like the one you were like, never do that again.
Yeah, a lot of those.
This one stand out.
There wasn't one of those, John.
Yeah.
Because I've had your cheesecake and it blew my mind. That was like one of the most memorable
Well,
things I've ever
It
had.
ruined dessert. Your cheesecake ruined dessert for me.
Yeah, so I'm just curious because like
Right.
I've had your like creations and I'm like it takes a while to get there. So I'm just like I don't know. I just always think there's like those moments where you do something and then you're like, okay, cool, that was a learning opportunity. You know, like that was outstanding. Always do that, or like never ever think that's a good idea again.
So the cheesecake is kind of like a standard vegan dish. Like a lot of people make a cheesecake like that. Like you can vary it a little bit, but just the principle remains the same with that recipe. So
much better.
One of my original raw food dishes that I love is a pineapple pizza, which is made on a slice of pineapple as the crust.
Okay.
So I cut the pineapple into a disc. And then I make a like a sun-dried tomato puree for the marinara sauce. And then a cashew cheese on top of that. Then you can top it with cherry tomatoes or olives or fresh herbs or bell peppers. But the flavor hit is exactly the same as eating a slice of Hawaiian pizza.
That's super cool.
But there's no cheese, there's no crust, there's no ham. But it's like 1,000 times more vibrant as well because like the pineapple is the base of the dish.
Right. Yeah.
But it hits your palate in exactly the same places. So you're like, I'm eating Hawaiian pizza, but really you're eating a piece of pineapple with a little bit of tomato
That's
spread
a great
on top.
idea. To be a cool idea for like a little bite, like just an appetizer or something to grab.
Yeah, I make it as an appetizer.
Yeah, that's super cool.
You've got the round pineapple and I cut it in like, you know,
no,
quarters.
I
like,
love that. I like that's such a cool take. I like the way he kind of took it upside down and backwards and made it, you know, made the flavors come through. I just think that's so clever and creative.
Yeah, or I like when make tacos with like lettuce or cabbage cups, and then to get like a mole flavor into the taco, the filling would just be like a kind of like a ground walnut pate. But I put whole cacao nibs in there. Grind it up and add lime, add tamarind, like really build up those Mexican flavors.
Yeah,
that are reminiscent of eating like tacos or al pastor
and mole. Yeah, very cool.
And then you give it like a really good like a mango or a mango salsa or a nice tomato salsa or like a really smooth guacamole, or make it like a Tex-Mex like cashew cream like nacho cheese.
Yeah.
So and it's the same thing. Like you're hitting these notes that remind you of the food you think you're eating.
Those profiles,
but it's made entirely out of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds.
That's really cool to hear that. Like it's like interesting to hear like the experiments, and like I was curious if there was some that came out, and like I just love that, like the different take and the way to approach that way.
Right.
Like what food represents, what the flavors are.
And then so I took that approach into like more professional settings later on when I was cooking at big tech companies. So I was cooking traditional foods, so cooking meat and cooking grains and working with dairy and poultry and eggs and everything. But really just like bringing it back to basics and being like, what can we do without empty filler? How much like real food can we infuse into every recipe? How can we like make food that's actually made out of food? and not just like empty starches or purchased flavors.
Uh-huh.
So Sam,
Huh.
give us like the 1 minute version, because Sam actually has a pretty amazing story, and we just want to talk to him about food and make really bad culinary jokes. But Sam, will you give us like just the 1 minute version of your culinary story? So you started woofing, and then you became this like kind of freelance Craigslist like vegan chef, and then tell us the,
Okay. So, hold on. I've got my motion sensor.
Turn on your backyard
All
light.
right, we're back. Yeah, I'm in the backyard because the baby's sleeping. So home raw vegan chef turned professional. Started as a private chef, got into the business that way, and then started working at restaurants and catering companies. Went on to manage a raw food cafe in Equinox Fitness Clubs. Ended up cooking on campus at Google. Learned how to cook food by the thousands of portions instead of the dozens. And then in 2011, had an opportunity to become the first head chef at Airbnb.
A small startup operation.
A small startup.
You might have heard of it.
Yeah, all I knew about
employees?
it was like VRBO. There were 50 to 100 employees when I joined in the San Francisco office. And when I left in 2016, there were 2,000 employees, and we had 50 people on the food team.
And that's where I know Sam from, because he would be leading meetings with the kitchen team where I was a contractor, and he would be leading kitchen sink meetings of like 25 people. So just the culinary team was like 25 people, you know, sort of near around the time you left. So I guess I was there a couple years before you left, but.
Right. So yeah, that program grew very fast, like the whole company did. And we opened kitchens in Portland, Oregon, and Dublin, Ireland. We built 2 different commercial kitchens in San Francisco while I was there. You know, they've obviously doubled and tripled in size since then, and then downsized recently with the pandemic. And then I got a couple of years where I got to kind of go back to my roots and do private events with you guys and other people. And then now I'm working on Hooray Bacon, which is a plant-based bacon that cooks in its own fat like real bacon. And
hold on, what's the name of it? What's the name of it again, Sam?
Hooray Foods.
Hooray!
I saw it. I got yeah.
But yeah, it's super fun, and it's kind of right in line with my like goals of simplicity. There's about 4 ingredients in the base, 4 ingredients in the seasoning, and they're all things that you could buy yourself in the grocery store. It's really the inventive and creative recipe that makes the product so awesome. And we're launching in Whole Foods sometime in November here.
Cool.
So that's going to be big.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Sick.
you have continued to just be rocking and rolling during the pandemic. Like you guys have been full tilt boogie because you have capital.
Yeah, we had
investment capital.
We had a launch. We're venture capital funded, and we had a launch coming up anyway. We were going to focus more on restaurants. So when the pandemic hit and restaurants really kind of slowed down and shut down, you know, we just went back to, we had interest from grocery stores, and we figured we wouldn't be able to work with them for a while. But we just went all in on grocery. So we've got Whole Foods coming up, and then we're talking to a number of other national retailers and some big regional retailers as well.
And it's just it's the vegan bacon product, the other plant-based bacon product. That's the main thing, or is there anything else?
Yeah, the bacon's our first product. You know, we are just getting our first big production run set up right now with our co-packer. As soon as that's up and running and we're able to kind of meet the demands of our first customers, we have a couple other products lined up that we'd like to roll out. I have a really good pepperoni. We think the pepperoni tastes more like pepperoni than our bacon tastes like bacon.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cooked that up. You gave me a sample, and it smelled like bacon was cooking. I mean, it really does that. It sizzles the same way. It
does a thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just gotten
Huh.
better since you guys have tried it. We've
Sure.
updated the process for mass production, but it also makes a better bacon product this way. It looks and feels and tastes and cooks more like bacon. We haven't changed the recipe per se, just kind of refined it.
Nice.
Like we do.
Dude, that's so awesome. That is so cool. I love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
I'm really looking forward to like it getting out in the world and seeing what people think of it. I mean, it's totally different. Any vegan bacon you get right now is kind of like ready to eat, and you're either just thawing it out or warming it up. But this one you actually have to render out the fat and cook it like bacon.
Right.
So one of the challenges is like a lot of people don't actually know how to cook bacon. So like right now we're making
Who saw that coming?
we're making instructional videos and like really trying to refine the recipe and the process to be like, this is how you cook bacon, and you've got to take it slow, and you can't go too hot or you burn it, and don't turn it too much, like let it render.
Don't
So
touch it.
there's a
You'll
lot of
fuck it up.
culinary there's a lot of culinary education to go along with it. And then the other thing is like
funny.
bacon's kind of more of like a side ingredient or like an element than a main dish.
Sure.
So I'm really looking forward to creating recipes with our product to kind of share with people. So they're also learning how to cook and how to make kind of the awesome plant-based food we've been talking about, and then include the bacon with it.
Right.
Well, if you need a culinary personality who you want to sponsor, I know somebody who's teaching cooking classes out of their living room who might be a great candidate for that.
Yeah. You guys should do that.
It'd be fun.
Well,
it'd be fun to do like a plant-based bacon class thing with you guys, for you guys, for sure. I'd love that.
We should do a collab.
I love
it. We like to work with influencers.
That
I think
I'm not, yeah, but
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I don't know.
We're working on
Your
it.
status is climbing.
Yeah, my status is climbing.
Stick with it. Stick with it.
Yeah, one baby steps, baby steps.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it would be fun to work with you guys. I could definitely swing. I don't know if he would be up for it, but I could swing an intro to Charles Michel, who is coming on my show in early December, and he's definitely in the influencer category, I would say, especially in like your niche, right, of like people who care about the food and care about food and the planet. And I think he would be a pretty interesting guy.
Nice.
Do you know him, Sam?
I'm not familiar.
His name is Charles Michel. He was like a finalist on Chef's Table, which is like the Netflix.
It was the final table.
The final table.
That's what it was. Because that's where I knew him from.
He's like he's a French chef, and he does all kinds of, he's like a food activist, and he does a lot of stuff. I think his main vibe is Instagram, but he's definitely rocking it in terms of just the social media universe.
For the sake of privacy, I can say that I have rejected sous chef candidates that applied to work with me who went on to win Top Chef.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that a win? Was that a win or a fail?
I'll just say no regrets. I mean, we both ended up in a good place.
Fair enough. It's beautiful.
I'm really happy for them.
Yeah. Seems like it all worked out for the best for everybody.
Maybe things would have gone differently, but maybe they'd been exactly the same, and then they didn't go on to win Top Chef.
Who knows? Can you give names, or does it have to be
no?
anonymous?
He said I said for the sake of privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to guess by like elimination.
There's been like what, 17 seasons or 12 seasons,
and then like the spin-off shows and stuff.
Yeah, I've names running already because I've watched the hell out of that show.
Speaking of great products, I'm moving on to a hibiscus.
All right, so now is our time for our unpaid product hype. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Lily's baking chocolate. I personally like the dark chocolate a lot more, but it's a completely 100% sugar-free chocolate.
Nice.
more or less rocking the sugar-free diet, and it's freaking awesome. And I'm also a huge proponent of Golden State cider. Love it.
Respect.
The dry
Yeah, they're
cider.
great.
And I also just want to give a shout out to Papa Tone's shirt, because like faux
Show, bro. Definitely picked that out on
like
purpose
I don't know
today.
if it's okay or not, but it's funny, so it's okay.
I mean, I don't see why not. The first place I ever started getting pho is called Pho King, and they definitely know you pronounce it.
Yeah.
You pronounce it pho. Like they knew their restaurant was called Pho
like
King, and
it's definitely
like,
the jam.
they had shirts too. I unfortunately destroyed it cooking, and it was covered in soot at some point.
I did
it never came back.
I did an NWA menu that was a pho bar. It was called the world's most dangerous soup, and the signature dish was pho the police.
Oh, the police, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Police, of course. Jones, do you have a product shout out that you want to
Oh man,
right now?
product shout out right now. I actually I don't think I have anything off the top of my head that I've been coming down on. Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I could say, Trader Joe's has these mini chicken cilantro wontons that have saved my life on more than one occasion when I can't cook. And I'm just like, I put it in a pan, I cook it, and it's delicious. And Trader Joe's mini cilantro wontons,
All right, so
freezer section.
So Trader Joe's mini cilantro chicken wontons, is that what it is?
Yeah, they're amazing.
So that's a lot of qualifiers.
Right, so then like your favorite like product that you're like people who don't think a health food
how do they
chef
grow the mini
eating.
cilantros?
Like hold on, no, but listen, this is a good question. Favorite product that you shouldn't be eating as a health food chef that you do that like saves your shit?
Yeah. It's a late night food that helps me out. I mean, is there a more direct question?
No. I mean, you answered the question. I'm just
all right. Yeah, I always feel like
you gave the answer before the question. I'm just reframing the question for Sam and I.
Okay.
I
see.
I only do this on a long drive, but I buy Sour Patch Kids. And like A, I don't think you should eat processed foods, and like B, you probably shouldn't eat children. But they really get your like salivary glands going and kind of like
Sour
keep you
Patch
alert
Kids
for the
legit.
drive. Yeah,
Sour
they're
Patch
amazing.
Kids are like top three candy.
I don't buy them on a regular basis. Only when I'm on a long road trip.
Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Sure.
I definitely don't have any Sour Patch Kids in my house. No way do I have Sour Patch Kids in my house.
Yes, but in your car you might.
So between the ages of like, I would say 8 and 11, I would say like once a week, maybe twice a month, I would have a conversation with my son about like how do you rank the candies? And so I had to get very clear that there were two different types of candies. There were like chocolate candies and then not chocolate candies. And I'm just gonna say Sour Patch Kids are way up there for me. They're way up there for me.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that fruity, gummy, any of it. I don't. It's never been my jam. Yeah.
All right. Let me think about what's my like.
I know Tones pounds. He pounds Starbucks bottled drinks in the morning instead of drinking regular coffees.
Hell yeah! When I'm at an event, little double shots, man. If I know if I'm going to be there a certain amount of days, I buy like at least a couple more than the amount of days. But I will literally wake up, have one just in me, and I'm like, all right, let's work.
Yeah.
It's like
This reminds me of like what are your event foods, right? Because I'm always shopping at Berkeley Bowl, so it's like on event days, which like before the pandemic happened and events weren't a thing. Like, all right, what do I need to like get through the day? And it was like an Inari. Like
I've seen you eat them while paying in line at Berkeley Bowl.
Inari sushi, just like rice and tofu skins. I can nail a couple of those, quick sugar, love it. And then like some version of like, I would say I go back and forth between like yerba mate, and you guys know this, yerba mate, Califia Farms, like almond milk, like, you know, cold brew coffee or cold brew espresso, or just like some kind of like highball or Runa, like some kind of hippie energy drink that doesn't have too much sugar but has like guarana or some other kind of like relatively heavy duty stimulant.
Highball's pretty intense, man.
I wish that highballs didn't taste like drinking a battery, and that they didn't make you want to die, because otherwise, like, it's a really great concept. It's like a New York seltzer energy drink.
They have like two flavors that aren't seltzer that I got into. There's like a black cherry one, I think, and like another like I forget. But there's like two flavors that aren't seltzer.
I don't go for the highball route. I just want to clarify.
Yeah, sure.
I'm on
the concept is so great, but whenever I have one, I think I'm putting like a nail through my forehead.
It's kind of like it's like got that White Claw thing. Like White Claw's like drinking static while someone yells the flavor from another room. Yeah. Like it's not really like, I'm like, what is, it's nothing. It's got like a hollowness. I was gonna bring that up
tonight. Like I had like a hard seltzer phase, like especially when the pandemic hit, because like we had a big cooler of drinks going in the backyard, where we're stuck at home working, and so in the afternoons we would move into the hard seltzers, and like they're only 5% alcohol, so like you have to pee or burp before you get drunk, and then like it's just like drinking a lot of bad tasting LaCroix.
Yeah, what I learned to do is you spike them. You put like a shot of gin in them, and then it's like, you know, it's like a gin and soda or something. But there's already like booze in the soda, so like you kind of double down a little there. That's the trick.
I actually figured that out as well.
Yeah, I see you.
You might as well just have a gin or a vodka or a tequila and a squeeze of lemon.
Yeah, I got over it pretty fast for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. There was that like 8 p.m. howling. I don't know if people did that around like where you were living, but every night at 8.
Oh yeah, that was like.
And I noticed my howling, like how into the howling I would be directly proportionate if I was like on the White Claw, spiked White Claw phase, or I didn't. Like I'm like, oh, I don't want to. You guys quiet down. But if I started having White Claws around 5, I was howling.
You'd be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, we're all together. We're in this together.
So. Another way to spike a gluten-free near beer is you get your hard cider and you put a shot of whiskey in that. I think I've taught you this stuff.
We had a night.
Yeah. So the cider sweetens the whiskey, and the whiskey kind of dries out the cider. Yeah.
I just did it. I just poured the rest in here.
There you go.
I don't know how you drink that shit, Tones. That's just like pure sugar, dude.
It's apple juice, man. It's apple juice.
Angry Orchard.
Angry Orchard?
Sugar,
oh, it's awful.
Oh, it's terrible. I can't help myself. I just drink it. The garden.
It just depends where you shop, though. You probably just can't get a good cider, or you actually prefer Angry Orchard.
It's definitely cheaper. And I was drinking the Orchards. They were giving me heartburn. These are so sweet, and like I enjoy them. They're like cold. It's like cold and it's like very hot in San Rafael. It's like 90 degrees all the time. I gotta have
like Orchard at night and Starbucks in the morning.
Yeah, you get me. You get me.
Yeah, in your mini fridge.
I have a real fridge these days. I've upgraded.
In your mini fridge. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the Sour Patch Kids, but.
So did you pack your bar with like miniature stuff to make it look bigger? Yeah.
What do you mean miniature stuff? Dude, these are quart jars, bro.
Those are like 2 quart jars.
No, dude, it wasn't. Maybe it was just full of like your personal belongings, but like I never thought that space was like a substantial size.
It was full of crap. Man, there was like
it was just invisible. There was nothing there.
There was like boxes and stuff. Like you put shelves in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put those shelves in. I mean, it was just basically like dead space. Like there was nothing in it. Sometimes there was storage stuff there, but really mostly there was
no, I know it's a virtual background. It's really convincing.
What a dick, man. What a dick. I spent
smoke and mirrors, baby.
Like
I spent 6
you got a photo of like
place,
a really
dude.
pro like demo kitchen. And then you downloaded it and you use it as your virtual background.
What a dick, bro. I'm gonna just walk back here. Look, I have a bright red. Look, this is not from a virtual background. This is a bright red Instapot for my cooking class, where we'll be cooking lamb shanks on December 4th. I'm just kidding. But no, man, I'm putting the work in, man. You know me,
Correct.
I'm very organized. It's only taken me 6 months to get it all together.
You're focused, man. You're focused. You're doing good work.
That's a new T-shirt for you.
A new T-shirt.
Focus.
It's not that. Yeah.
Focused.
What do you guys miss the most about like just life? What are you missing? I'm fucking done with this pandemic shit. I really don't know what to say, but I'm fucking tired of it.
I kind of like it.
I mean, like, it's cool to have been in my house for like 6 months and be teaching like, you know, cooking classes out of my living room. Like, there's parts of it that are cool, but I'm also tired of like doing the fucking dishes. And I just kind of want to like cook for some people. Like, just curious where you guys are at with all this pandemic shit.
I mean, I'll say, you know, it's you know, I'm not like kissing your butt right now, but man, you let us on some fun cooking weekends. You know, where business and pleasure kind of merged, and I miss that stuff. You know, just that casual kickback. I mean, working, cooking for people at an event where it's just kind of all like it kind of all meshes together. That's gives me a lot. You know, what I've learned is you know, the older I get, the harder it is to like bond with people, like just off the cuff, like just, you know, hang out. But if I work with people, it's like, you know, we kind of like click and hang out, and like something happens. And I haven't been getting those like, you know, oh man, we just went in the trenches together for the weekend. How are you doing? I miss you. You know, there's like a thing that happens. And you know, I still see some of the folks that I work with at Forkful, and you know, I feel thankful. You know, I'm working about half time, and I have somewhat of a schedule, so I have like a reason to get out of bed. But man, those like kind of off the cuff, crazy cooking weekends. You know, I had a lot with you. I had some with the Chicken and Waffles crew and Burning Man and all that stuff. It's like that's the thing that juices me up. Like I'm exhausted after, but it was hella worth it. And I think that's a thing I miss. Like, you know, those little moments throughout the year where I'm like, those are where stories are made, anecdotes happen. So like, that's kind of the big one for me. What about you, Sam?
I mean, I think that's a good point that, you know, when you're literally distancing yourself from other people. You're only seeing like the folks you live with, the folks you work with, and maybe your immediate family. Maybe you have a couple friends you feel safe around, but you're not making any new connections. And if you are, they're online, so you know what somebody looks like from the shoulders up, but like you don't know what pants they wear, if they even wear pants.
You don't know how good you know how good
wow.
the slides and the socks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know that.
We do now. We didn't. You know, you could have totally got away with that.
I know.
Yeah, and I guess I mean I don't know. Maybe Jesse, for you, like, you are meeting new guests online, and maybe that's fulfilling in some way.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff online is cool. I mean, there's been a little bit of a community developing around like our Friday night dinners, which is fun. And I think there is like a certain social thing that happens, but you know, and I mean, I feel very fortunate and very blessed. You know, we've been to see my mom a couple of times in Colorado, and I have a partner, Andrea, who's like just awesome, you know, and like, so it's like I get to see Eli, I get to see Andrea. Like I've definitely had that kind of regular human contact that not everybody has, but at the same time, like I think I'm just hitting a certain kind of threshold where I'm just like, man, I want to not be in this rhythm anymore, and I want to do something different. And I think the thing that I notice is just like a really like a yearn. I mean, definitely everything you said, Tones. Like, I mean, you know, definitely been pretty good at developing like the crazy, weird, adventurous cooking experiments.
This will work.
And that's like super fun. That for sure. But also I think just I don't know, like I think just actually cooking for a lot of people like is deeply nourishing for me. And I'm like, yo, could I just cook for 50 people? Like that would make me really happy right now. Like I fucking miss that. And it's like, it's just, yeah, I mean, like there's definitely something really cool that happens. I mean, tomorrow morning I'm doing like a pancake throwdown with like 30 people from all over the country right here in the
Cool.
kitchen. Like it'll be hilarious, but like
In the virtual background.
exactly, I'll be demonstrating from the virtual background. But it's also like, it's not the same as like, like with you guys just turning out like, 50 perfect plates and like, and just the hilarity of that and, whatever, smoking a cigarette at the end of the shift and just being like, oh, we did a beautiful thing. All right, cool. And like right now I'm like, okay, I got a lot of dishes to do by myself. Glad you guys enjoyed that in your own kitchen. Like, bye.
I'm going to send out 25 Just Add Water meal kits next week. It's my big event.
Are you really doing that?
Yeah, we're doing a virtual brunch to go along with our launch. So I'm sending out kits to make vegan waffles and Bloody Marys with our bacon.
But how will you put
Sam,
water in your Bloody Marys?
No, I mean, like the only thing they'll really need at home is water and oil. Otherwise, we'll pack them up a kit of like frozen and refrigerated and dry food that they can.
Oh no, I get that for the
use
pancakes, but for the Bloody Marys, you put water in them. I'm confused by that.
No, just add water.
In the waffles, bro. Come on, bro.
I had to source a waffle mix that was vegan and just add water.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Somebody
I get that.
Somebody hasn't done any kits lately. So Sam, I don't know if you already have your shit dialed, but I have been cultivating the kit process lately. So tomorrow.
Oh no, actually no. This is going to come up for us next week, so it's good to know.
So tomorrow, people will be getting a Sacred Kitchen branded pancake mix in a deli.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good idea. I was going to do a plastic bag for the pancake mix, but I'll do a deli.
Teeny tiny vial of the East Bay's very best vanilla.
Is that what's in there?
That's vanilla.
You're about to get arrested.
All right.
That vial costs more than the vanilla.
And then a little shelf stable organic milk. And guess what? All they have to do is add all of this to all of this, and their pancakes come out perfectly. And they also have a little Tupperware of almonds and a little Tupperware of Sacred Kitchen special spice mix and a little Tupperware of powdered sugar. And check it out. Wait for it.
Oh, it's that room service maple syrup.
Teeniest tiny maple syrup. And Sam, I have a fuck ton extra of these, buddy. I would love. I literally have like 70 extra maple syrup, so I'd love to give you some for your kits.
Oh well, I'm making a bacon flavored maple syrup.
Well, you should just send these. But anyways, they also get a little make your own tea for two. Look at
nice.
So there's tea and honey,
for two. All right.
And then I threw a blood orange in there because it travels well and it'll be fun on pancakes. So, anyways,
beautiful.
If you want to talk, they all fit in this box. They fit in an 8x8x4 container that fits inside this box. I can walk you through the whole detail. I've got a beautiful system set up. It's an unbelievable pain in the ass. It takes forever, but if
here we are.
The price is right. If the price is right, here we are. We should rock it out.
Because you're making however many of those.
I just wanted to clarify. I was asking if you were drying Bloody Mary like powder or mix because you said just add water.
So. No, I found a really cool fermented Bloody Mary mix. It's like fresh pressed juices that are like beginning to ferment. I don't believe they're alcoholic on their own. So it's like an 8 ounce. It's an 8 ounce bottle.
Oh, cool.
And then
so you just send them that little bottle, and
we're sending them the bottle and the bacon, and I got some pickles and some olives. I think I'm gonna maybe vacuum pack some celery sticks, and then I'm making a salt to rim the glass.
Nice.
Are you
like
overnighting this?
Chili.
Are you overnighting it, or what are you doing?
Yeah, we're gonna overnight everything because our bacon's gonna be in there, so it's gonna be cold.
Right.
I'm super curious how you're doing like the packs, like like are you doing freezer
like
packs or how are you doing
insulated
that?
Or
we use an insulated liner and a standard kind of gel ice pack, like a big one. which works pretty well nationwide. We've had some issues if it's like the heat of the summer, but otherwise, overnight with U.S. Postal Service is very fast. Like you can walk in at like 3 p.m. and they're like, "It'll be in New York before 10 a.m. tomorrow morning." I'm like, how
It's
is that
also
possible?
like
I'm
70.
giving it
It's
to
also
you
like
now.
$70, right?
Gotta love the post office, baby.
Well, when we just send bacon, it doesn't weigh very much. So it's like $25.
All right. It's expensive bacon.
Well, but we're sending it to people who might invest in our company or might promote it for us. So
right,
it's well worth it.
is
Worth
like
it.
nothing.
Worth it.
Yeah. To go back to your original question, like I haven't been doing events for over a year now, because I've been working on a package product. And I can say like the hardest thing about cooking this way is just not having that guest interaction, and not having that team interaction. Like I'm refining a product, we're changing one thing every day or testing stuff that may not even end up going anywhere. And I think besides the reason I mentioned earlier, the thing that's really fulfilling about cooking is the instant gratification. You cook food, you try something, you probably do a couple things you're comfortable with, and then a couple things that are new. And no matter how it goes, like at the end of the night, it's over with, and you get feedback, and you feel accomplished even if you failed. But just not having that cycle of like the ramp up, the production, the service, the the kind of collective like understanding of how well you did, has been really, really hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching a show. I was watching a show last night, and I was like, I think it was that like Zac Efron like travel show. But there's a thing where they all made this food, and you could see people sitting down at a big long table, eating and talking and sharing and laughing. And there was, like 20 of them, and there's like that murmur of people hanging out. Like there's just, something to that. It's like, oh, like I feel part of making that happen. And there's some like reward that's triggered that feels so good, and seeing people like having like a joyful experience from like, the labor we put into stuff. It's like, it's so cool. And I think that is a huge thing I miss also. We're doing like a delivery program. So we get like, I'm like, any emails this week? Any feedback? How are we doing? Like, I think they like our ideas. We're doing all kinds of new stuff.
Did everything get into the truck on time?
Man, I'll tell you, the first 4 weeks of that, we were a nightmare. So many, like, the amount of work going into and like getting everything right, and then just putting the wrong fucking thing in a bag and just like sending it out for delivery and being like, why is all this left in here? We're really short stuff. Like that was oh my God, it like gutted me. And it's like it's the simplest thing, but it's a totally different brain from like cooking and packing it to like literally like calmly putting the right thing in the right bag and setting it to the right place. Had a few, like we've gotten a lot better at it, but the first, the learning curve, man, like, just it, like, there was just a couple afternoons I came home and was like, man, we got to get better at that.
Yeah, when I did home deliveries, I had a separate couple. Like a lot of my friends would volunteer to help me in exchange for food, at that time in the early days, and like I would have people come specifically just for packing.
It's a whole other brain. It's a whole other brain, man. All day.
We'd portion everything out, but then someone else would package up everybody else's order off of the spreadsheet.
Smart.
Because it is really hard to do also at the end of the day after you've been working in the kitchen for that long.
Yeah, it really gutted me a few times. I'm like, man, this isn't
good.
We got to figure this out. We got to get a better system.
Well, going back to your thing that you were talking about, Anthony, of like 20 people together, like eating, I think that's like a part of what we do as chefs is there's this, I think about like the work I've done with Angela recently, your employer, and like, she talks so much about like, there's all this thoughtfulness that goes into like every little detail, not only of the food, but of the presentation of the food. And like, it's all crafted so that like we get to have that magical moment when you drop the food. And like 3 minutes after you drop it, there's silence because everybody is like, "Oh my God, what am I eating? This is so good. I can't even talk." No, I'm like totally consumed with all the flavor and everything. And then over time that ratchets up and like you're in the middle of this like totally magical festivity and people are like, that was the best party ever. And knowing that we like all of the intention and all of the thoughtfulness from, like, I mean, all the way back to like our beginning careers, but definitely all the way back to the farmers that we brought the food from, or the places that we, source the product and the energy that we put in, like it all comes together in that moment. And we actually get to feel it. You get to feel it in the back of the house.
Sure.
And right now it's just like, yeah, that doesn't really happen very much. I mean, my classes are great because I get to eat dinner with folks, folks who stay over, and it's like, okay, they're like loving the food. Awesome. That's great, but it's still different. And I'm just curious for you, Sam, like outside of just the fact that you're not really doing that kind of work anymore, what about the pandemic is like a pain in the ass for you? Like where you're just like, oh, I really can't wait to, what's that for you?
Our whole thing is really revolves around childcare. My wife and I are both working, but our daughter was in daycare for 2 weeks before everything got shut down. So like we had a nanny with another family for a couple months before that, but she was like actually in a daycare. We could drop her off and she was just cool. She would, basically go to, school, and we could pick her up at any time whenever we were done working, and it was super chill and she was meeting kids and having fun. But now, because we're in close contact with all of our parents, and they want to be around us and be around the baby, we haven't really hired a childcare solution yet. So we're both at home all day most days, and we're kind of just splitting the morning and the evening. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 people, taking care of Flora, handling, like, negotiating a meeting schedule, being able to leave to either do work or go shopping, or whatever else needs to be done. And then grandparents come in and help out sometimes. But like really, so what I've noticed is like when I go to work, like, and actually go like work at our office or a test kitchen, like I'm not in that headspace anymore. But when we're at home, whether we're working or not, like it's kind of 100% consuming of just like we're managing like a very busy house, and that's an all day thing from 6 or 7 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
When she goes to bed, and it's like it's just constant, and it doesn't matter if it's Monday or Saturday or Wednesday or Friday. Like for the most part,
who's
like
tracking the days of the week right now, anyways?
The baby really doesn't care what day it is or what time it is. Like,
how old's Flora now?
18 months, year and a half. So yeah, it's just all hands on deck at every moment. So kind of what like you guys are talking about, of like just being able to like be present with your work and be really engaged with everything you're doing. Like we get moments of that, but it's never the whole day. It's never like, well, I don't have the luxury of working 12-hour shifts anymore.
Bummer, dude.
The luxury of working a 12 only a 12-hour shift. What the fuck,
right.
dude?
But then again, I've got a 14 to 16-hour day at home of just kind of keeping the house going and keeping everybody okay.
Totally.
So
just cooking was a good training for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could change if we found, like a childcare situation we felt really safe with. We've been making it work in the meantime. Christina's mom retired, so she's more available to help out now, and so a day or 2 a week, like we'll get a break. But for us, that's been the big thing. And so just we only really have the ability to keep up. We don't have the ability to really move forward.
I hear this a lot from a lot of my other friends who have kids in this situation right now. I mean, with the schools and stuff. I mean, I watch, Angela, my employer, just dealing with
Yeah.
so much of the uncertainty and the criteria and the guidelines and these kids and getting sent home and like unable to actually make plans to do anything with all like there's a lot that's going on that's just I mean, you're in a different situation with not with school, but like, the norm, you'd be looking for childcare and it's not there, but just, I've heard, like, my heart really goes out to people with kids right now. And they're the priority and just like, dealing with someone who's my employer, dealing with that. I'm like, you tell me, I'm here to support. That sounds horrible, that just to have to feel the uncertainty.
It'd be way harder if she were in school, because one of us would probably have to be in school with her. If we had more kids than one, it would also be harder. She doesn't know the difference because she's growing up in this.
Sure.
She's a year and a half old, and we've been on lockdown for 6 months. So like it's just part of her consciousness.
She might not remember it either. I can't remember anything from when I was 1.5. I mean, God.
She doesn't know that she doesn't have any friends besides her family.
It's beautiful.
But like, if you were 6 or you were 10, and all of a sudden you couldn't see most of your friends,
I know, yeah, man.
It would be gut wrenching.
I've seen some of my kids' friends. They're acting out. They're not happy.
I got a 7th grader, man.
Yeah. Is Eli squatting out, podding out? Are you guys doing any of that? Like,
not as much as I would have thought. I mean, not yet. I mean, we were in Colorado a couple weeks ago, so that kind of like put a big blip in the in the opportunity for that. And he's got a couple buddies that he hangs out with, but it's not. Yeah, it's pretty minimal so far. So he's actually going back to school. He's actually going back to school in a couple of days. So
it's hard all around, but I couldn't imagine
like in person
being in school at this time.
Yeah, he's going back to school on Thursday in person. They're kind of starting with like a little vanguard, like maybe a third of the school's going back. So they're going to try that out on Thursday.
How do they decide a third of the school? It's whoever's like willing. Was that? How do you?
We don't ask too many questions.
All right.
Lies,
yeah, sure.
Oh
man.
Well, guys, I think we should at least stop the live stream right now.
Yeah, sure.
Great to talk to you.
Can we end on a more positive note, though?
Yeah, of course. Sam, take us home, baby.
I need like a prompt.
You are the prompt.
Podcast. This is not my podcast.
You are the prompt.
Not a
pilot. Well, what's the meaning of life? I mean, we didn't ask the third question, man. I was waiting for that. We got so into just hanging out and talking, which is the point. So I think that's probably the prompt. I was waiting.
All right. I have a prompt.
In 6th grade, I was staying up late, and I called it. Oh, you got a new prompt?
Chocolate.
I want what happened in 6th grade? What's the meaning of life?
Oh, we were staying up late on like a Friday night, and we called the radio station, and we asked them what the meaning of life was, and the DJ said it was the number 42.
Right.
Which I came to learn is like from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is life, the universe, and everything. It was also Jackie Robinson's number, and a few other athletes I admire. So I always try to get that number on any sports teams or throw it into any codes or patterns I left for myself. So
42.
Yeah. I'm sticking with 42.
Okay.
It's like
so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Right. It's arbitrary, but it's something I can always go back to.
I like that.
But it was a bummer. When I was a senior in high school, I had the number 42 on the football team, but I had to change because they moved me to the offensive line, and you can only wear, I think, numbers above like 65 or 70. Yeah. So
brutal.
Another guy got hurt, so I got his number 78, but I had to relinquish 42.
Bummer.
There's no
I was a captain that year.
World, man.
Yeah.
No
although I think maybe
that's the meaning of life there.
I think maybe I got the team photo in with number 42, so maybe it was okay.
Yeah, that's the memory right there,
Yeah.
You were captain of your football team, Sam?
Oh yeah, but full disclosure, like we lost almost every game. But that just meant I got to play offense, defense, and special teams.
You gotta let time in. You weren't warming no benches.
No,
No.
we didn't have very many people, and we weren't very good. But I got to play a lot. It was fun.
All right.
That's an uplifting note for all of us.
That's right. I had
Well,
fun.
no, like if I'd gone to another high school, like I probably would have gotten cut from the team. But because I went to a school with a bad football program, I got to play every down.
That's right. It's
So,
because
like,
it's not about winning. It's about playing and enjoying it and having fun.
What's
The match.
What's more fun, like not playing football or playing football?
Playing football. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, show.
Oh,
Oh, show, yo.
No, I think you mean football.
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 Oh, man. Oh.
All right, guys, I'm stopping the live.